Before I start here, this video showed up in my YouTube feed not even a week ago, and listening to it, Patrick says a bunch of the usual stupid shit from pro or anti-vax people. I'm recording this through Destiny because I really didn't feel like looking for the actual podcast, and let alone search for this particular segment. But anyway, here we go.
You will put other people in this organization at risk, and that organization does not want to take that risk. So you do not have this job anymore if you decline it. So with any public health decision, there has to be a consequence to you not participating in that.
We pretty much did that.
Well, only put your job at risk, yes.
Yeah, 67% of Americans took the COVID. That's force. That's not a choice. That's a lot of force and coercing and pushing going on. But you can't go to the school unless you're vaccinated against mumps. I think that's bullshit.
That's a different country.
Yeah.
Patrick calls that bullshit, so I guess he's against public health and safety, which is the common attitude of this insane anti-vax cult. They both prioritize human rights and accuse the government of coercion and force, while this force is only in response to a deadly pandemic, which would make the virus the tyrant, in its state of a spread breakout, not the government. Of course, anti-vax hypocrites have stolen the "my body, my choice" statement from the pro-choice movement to use against the vaccine advocates, which is both an ideological tactic and therefore a red flag, while they also rely on the cop-out of choice, which would also apply to the pandemic. It's saying, risk infection by coming out or be safe at home. Much like religions, the choice is forced. This also indicates the advocates know the pro-life movement is bullshit, and the advocates know they're wrong. They otherwise would never resort to asshole tactics. No, being kept away from any type of social gathering is not bullshit, it's a safety precaution. Anti-vax people are sociopaths and hypocrites.
Yeah, but
okay, what you want a country?
No, America is supposed to be the one that offers the most freedom. That's what America's supposed to be.
This isn't about freedom. It's about
for example, if you use that argument, somebody may say, "Well, freedom of choice. I want to choose what I want to do with the body." You're right.
What body?
If you want to get an abortion, it's your choice.
Your own body. Your own body.
If you want to get an abortion, get an abortion. If I want to get the vaccine, I get to choose. So you can't force.
Abortion is a bad analogy because pregnancy is not an infectious virus, and neither are babies. Pregnancy isn't even a matter of choice either, because no woman can decide against it. Sperm goes in, she's knocked up. Not always, but that's how it usually happens. Nobody can decide to have an urge either, let alone decide when it comes. So Pat doesn't even have that going for him with this silly and illogical analogy. Shows he's disingenuous.
If I can't force you to get an abortion, you shouldn't be able to force me to get
because it's not about you. It's about people you interact with.
They always think
that's the social contract of public health.
We don't even know if the vaccine worked or not at the time.
Yes, that's what the trials are, dude. That's why these trials.
Suppose the vaccines never are effective. What have the anti-vaccine malcontents ever offered to help? Rights in being American doesn't help anyone. God clearly doesn't help either. So what the fuck? What do you guys have? Anything? Probably not. Ivermectin? You guys, I don't know. I could do research, I could upload a video on that, but they wouldn't listen. Well, nobody would.
Missing data?
But let me ask you a question. Are we saying only one type of scientists are right?
No, we're saying that the system in place.
The 16,000
You're saying what you're not listening
the
to.
The system in place to test vaccines. Yeah. There's an entire system that's in place. That with review boards and all of it.
Yeah, and the average.
That's in place. Now you can say, what you can say do, and that would have made everything better. Okay. You can put forth that idea. But what I'm saying is, in a case where you can contaminate someone else, it's not about you. It's about the collective
You're assuming.
Health.
You're assuming because somebody can.
Assuming? No. Nobody said the vaccine is absolute. The vaccine not being absolute is not an argument, though. The vaccine is also intended to minimize the symptoms, also to keep hospitals free for patients with other health problems, which anti-vax protestants don't care about either, because sociopath. I don't even understand what Pat cares about how effective a vaccine is, though, as he's against protection and safety, and favors rights and freedoms. Obviously just an excuse to reject it and argue, because he's a fucking dipshit.
Take the vaccine, won't get COVID, which, by the way, I don't need to play the clips for you to see it, where everybody said, hey, if you get it, you're not going to get, if you take the vaccine, you're not going to get a Rachel Maddow, Joe Biden. I can give you
Who cares?
Fauci. I can give you
Name dropping, that's all that is.
I hate that these guys will jump over themselves to explain away the insurmountable amount of evidence of Trump saying and doing stupid things. But when it comes to like statements on the vaccine, these
all people do is argue
will
with
hang so hard off of one thing. Biden said that if you get the vaccine, you won't get sick.
This
and
is
so
why
what
I do
every
what I
single
do.
person meant was that the vaccine was supposed to have a 100% like bullshit, dude. Come the on. I've heard that one clip played. Like nobody. That was never the one.
For it. So these annual flu shots are precisely out of the same idea of how this occurs.
How long have those been tested, though? For years. COVID vaccine hasn't been tested for it. It was something we just came out. But let me.
I don't know what point you're making, other than it was tested. You might
9 months is not enough.
Patrick is now arguing about the testing of the COVID vaccine, which doesn't make sense because, again, his position is that rights and freedoms are the only importance in America. Well, the world, really, I guess. He doesn't care about the nuances of the vaccine or people surviving, only being allowed into the public during a deadly pandemic. It's like these antis want everyone to become infected and die. Maybe except for them.
It's not a matter of time. It's a matter of how many. Yes, time matters, but the number of people is paramount. That's the most important thing. Okay, you don't test it on 10 people. You test it on as many people as you can.
Sure.
I think it was thousands, but
is it fair to say that some of the side effects we may not know for 5, 10, 15, 20?
When do most vaccine side effects appear? I've heard 2 months is the I should have saved this.
So this is the now you want a world where you can do whatever you want and have it influence other people.
I'm not saying that.
You kind of are.
I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is the following. Okay, for example, statistics. Have you seen the documentary Died Suddenly? Have you looked at it?
No.
It's an interesting one. It's on I don't know where it's at. You can find it somewhere online. Yeah. Okay. It's got 30 million views. I think it's worth watching. Actually would be curious to know what you say about it once you watch it. The statistic then showed, like, pre-COVID, 29 people, athletes in Europe died suddenly from heart failure. Pre-COVID. Pre-taking the...
And what does he care? As you said before, COVID restrictions and mandates are bullshit. While Neil just said 20 seconds ago, you kinda are. After he just said here, he doesn't want to just do whatever he wants during a viral breakout. Pat is a sociopath who doesn't care about people dying.